right, this is going to be a Cowboys episode. There's no really Cowboys news. The first bit of news that we have is Sean Lee is he just kind of said that he's committed to one more year with the Cowboys, so that makes me happy. Obviously, we got Jalen and Van Der Esch in the middle there, but with Lee being committed, he understands it's a backup role, and he would be rolling in there.
He knows the system.
He knows the system. He would be coming in and out on dime packages or whenever somebody needs a little break or Gatorade drink or whatever. But that makes me happy that he is committing to one more offseason and one more season for us. So that's the bit of actual news that we have. And then we'll go into like a what-if scenario. To make Dallas a top 5 defense, there is a realistic scenario that could happen. It is, I'll let you kind of explain it.
Well, kind of the first thing would be if they would release Tyrone Crawford.
That would free up about $8 to $10 million, from my understanding.
And then pretty much what I've kind of read and gathered is with that would give them the financial aspect to make a run at Clowney.
So then we would get Clowney and have Clowney on one edge, and then Lawrence on
Gerald McCoy, then Dante Poe, then with Clowney, Van Der Esch, and Jalen Smith. That wouldn't be a bad.
That would be a real good front seven, and then we would after that. Because like you said, that frees up to $8 to $10 million. Then we would sign Clowney for $12 to $15 million. Whatever he wanted. Within a realistic amount. Yeah. $12 million. I'll just say that. I don't know exactly, but we get him, so we'd have a real good front seven. Then we would go after Adams. There was a couple different trades proposed. The first one was a first round, a fourth round, and a fifth round pick. Just directly picks for Adams.
2 first rounds, or a first round this year, fourth, and a fifth next year.
Right. So you're giving up a lot of picks. I think that would be a realistic one, but man, I don't like giving up my first round picks. But he would be worth it. The only problem is it'd be a 1-year rental, unless if he's coming there knowing that a deal can be put in place.
Like we had talked about before, I think he wants a deal wherever he goes. And I know he wants to get paid. Now, whether he takes a discount because he's mentioned the Cowboys.
Right.
But I think even to get a deal done with him,
it's going to be
you're probably going to have to trade somebody else.
Right.
Or
to free up some more money.
There's going to be a lot of restructuring happening. Whether it be Zeke, I mean, could be Cooper. Maybe Jalen Smith, because you just inked him to a deal. But you're going to have to do something to get Adams.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you might do all this and Adams might walk.
I know. That would suck. There was another realistic mock trade that was proposed. Was the Cowboys would receive Adams and a 6th round pick, but then we would give up La'el Collins and a 3rd round pick. So you're getting rid of Collins' contract and a pick. You were getting rid of Collins' contract and a 3rd round pick, and then they're getting rid of Adams and a 6th round pick. So that would free up the money to sign him.
To me, that's more realistic.
It's a realistic trade.
When you're looking at money.
Right, when you're looking for the financial, but you're giving up a left tackle. A good left tackle.
Dallas has got one of the best lines.
Right, you overall.
You just lost Frederick because he retired.
And then you want to give up Collins, too. I understand the thought process of, making anything happen to get Adams to bolster that defense. Now, if we could combine the Adams trade and pull off the Clowney move that was you were kind of proposing there, I think that would make us a top 5 defense.
Oh, it would.
Now my thing with that is, instead of trading Collins, I'd rather give up Gallup.
Right.
But Gallup's not under a huge contract right now, is it?
Right. So
you're not freeing up that much money.
You're not freeing up a lot of money, but I like the thought process there since we have
more depth.
We have more depth at wide receiver. I like the thought process there.
You got CD. And I think more or less that would give Darnold with the Jets another option.
Right. It would give Darnold a weapon. It would give us the defensive safety that we want.
And Adams doesn't want to be there anyway.
Right. So I think that's a realistic proposal as well. But like you said, from the financial side, I don't know if it works out as well as like the Collins.
The only downfall I see with it, Clowney's got injury concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Smith does from college.
Yeah.
Van Der Esch has neck issues. That's a lot of injury concerns to have with the linebacking core.
Well, there's a lot of money wrapped up into that team. I mean, you're going to have to make a deal for Dak. I mean, he's on the tag, right? But
right.
Then you got some old linemen that are going to have to get paid.
Mm-hmm. Probably Collins is probably going to be due.
I mean,
that might be that might be you get rid of Collins for Adams, and then you get out of that whole thing. But
because I mean, if you look at it too, kind of we're talking about Collins.
Mm-hmm.
You got Tunsil signed a $22 million contract.
Yeah.
And then Baltimore's in talks with Staley, which he's going to be probably go past Tunsil. So then I'm sure Collins is going to want 22, 23, if not more.
Yeah, good O lineman.
So maybe that's what they're thinking. Maybe they're like, well, we can't pay him this money. So
and one of the things too is I'm sure you probably won't have to pay Adams as much as you'd have to pay.
Right.
But you're going to take that gamble.
That Adams is going to be
that. Then can you replace Collins? That's the biggest.
And
linemen are hard to find.
Right. And we kind of talked about this before last week, just with Adams in general. If we got Clowney and Adams, it would bolster us. But even then, would it make us? Because we still have issues at depth as far as defensive back goes. Just our defensive back depth. We would add him, but we're still not a complete defense. 100%. Like, I don't know if that would really push us over the edge. I think it could push us into top 10, top 5 territory statistically, and we would just be dominant overall. But is that the missing piece? I think there's a little more to do to the defense.
I think that's the problem when so many teams try to put like all these, we got to get the best, like a dream team type thing.
Right.
Let's pay all these guys, but then if one of those guys goes down, who do you have?
Or you have no depth behind
Sometimes it's better just to have, some decent players with more depth behind them.
Now, if you guys were able to, which didn't happen, but the best scenario would have been if you still had Byron Jones.
Yeah,
and if you would have been able to pair Adams in there and have, get some kind of corner for depth.
That's what I'm saying. With him walking, it put a little bit of a hamper on our defensive back depth. So, yeah, you're adding the badass safety, but you don't got the defensive backs.
To me,
you'd have a really good front seven, and then you'd have Adams with kind of a defensive back.
If I was Dallas, I would rather go for Adams than I would for Clowney.
Right.
If I had a choice to pick one of those guys,
because we already have
pretty good up front. Yeah,
right.
You need more help in the back. So those guys are harder to find too. I think corners, safeties.
Right. I'm with you on that.
So.
Yeah, I think Adams is a safer pick. He's younger than Clowney. He's been healthy pretty much the whole time he's been with the Jets.
Perfect world. I like your wide receiver, the Gallup trade, but financial world, I think it would have to be the Collins. You'd have to give a player that's gonna free up some of that cap, so then you could get Adams signed.
And Dallas has done well at drafting offensive linemen, so I don't think that's a problem. Some teams are really horrible at drafting offensive linemen. So
I do agree that we have done well with that. Any other comments you guys have on Dallas?
I think that's all I got.
All right, then that's it for Dallas. Talking Vikings next.
Ooh.